What's up, mathletes? That's right, Broad Run High School Math Department, which is amazing, is coming at you with part 3 of our notes on special angle pair relationships. So on this one, we're going to start with example 4. We're going to do examples 4 and 5 in this video. So what I would recommend, even though there's only one on your note sheet, I would add a couple other of these to your notes because it might make some things easier for you to see. So if that helps you, cool, do it. So pause the video, and come on back when you're done. Boom. Now that you're done, let's roll. So I'm going to do this one here. This is going to be number 1. So in this spot, what we got to do is identify angles that make a linear pair. So remember, let's kind of review those. Linear pair means two angles that are next to each other in a line. Two angles that are adjacent that make a line. So in the first one, I'm taking a look at angle AOB. So when I look at angle AOB, I want to highlight where that spot is. So, or maybe you just kind of note it. So angle AOB is right here and right here. So that's the angle that angle AOB is. Now, in order to make a linear pair with that, so a linear pair with a given angle, I want to take a look at the other sides that will kind of do that. So here's where we got to be careful, right? So we have two directions we could go with this. One is right here. So that could make 180 degrees. And here's where we got to be kind of careful, right? Because I'm starting up here at B, and I'm going down to O, and then over here to C to D. Because remember, they must share, they've got to share a common side, you know, which in this case is a ray. So they must share a common ray. So when we take a look at that, of course, that will be angle BOD. So that's one of my pairs with angle AOB. That is a linear pair. Now the other one, I could also go around this way. So I could start here and go around like that. Let me use a little bit different color there. Sorry, I thought I hit that. So one could be this guy right here. So if that's the case of my other version, right, I could start here at A, go all the way into that vertex where O is, and then shoot out to where point E is. So my other option there is going to be angle AOE. So those two angles are the ones that would be a linear pair with angle AOB. Now let's take a look at example number 2. So I'm going to put a little 2 right here by this one, that guy. So that's going to be my second one. In this one, we are talking about angle FOE. So let's find where that is, FOE. Let's label it. So FOE is right down here, FOE, boom, boom. So that's that little kind of V right there. So again, if I look at this, if I analyze this, yeah, and we see, okay, from here all the way around to there. So that is one version that makes 180. So again, that common vertex is going to be right there in the middle. So that will be angle F to O to B all the way there. So angle FOB, that's one of them. And then my other pair, my other option is to go all the way out here, and I could start where F is on that segment. Go all the way around, boom, and come around to where point C is, that line right there. So that would be my other option where I could go angle that whole piece right there. So I'm going right here from E all the way into O and then D. So angle EOD, that would be another one. Or not D, sorry, my bad. That should be angle EOC. Whoopsies, yeah, look at that. Boom, because I've got to extend that, keep going. So that should go all the way out to there. So you got to be careful because sometimes people do that. They see one line and they kind of gravitate toward that. But if I look, I can kind of see where that is. So that should be angle EOC instead of EOD. My apologies. Now let's take a look at example number 3 here. Now if you think you got it, go ahead and hit pause and then come on back, check your answers with these, and I'll see you in a little minute. If not, let's roll. So in example 3, we're talking about angle DOC. So DOC is right here. So D's here. O goes in there, the vertex, and C shoots out right there. So that's that speed place. Now, if you kind of notice that, that's the opposite of, that's very similar to what we did in example number 1, right? Because I could take a look right here at this spot going from where this ray starts and goes all the way over. So I could go all the way over to that piece, which gives me A all the way into O and then C. So that could be one option. So angle AOC. Now my other option, again, because each one of these, I'm going to have two options. I could start up here at C and then go all the way to where point F is. And that will give me another option right there. So that piece right there, that other angle, that could be angle DOF. And then lastly here, in example number 4, so let's go ahead and slide it over a little bit so you can see that. So example number 4, now we're looking at angle AOF. All right, so where's A, where's O, where's F? Let's kind of notice that. So A's here, O goes into the middle, and then F shoots out there. So again, I could start here and go all the way around there to where point C is. So that's one option. And then that would give me this ray right here, or this angle right here, boom, boom. So that's one option. And that would be angle AOD, or AOC. See, I did it again. Ha! So angle AOC. And then another one could be my other option with that. If I look over here, I could also go right there. That would make another, that would make another 180 degrees, right? With two angles next to each other, so that makes them a linear pair, which means that'd be angle DOF again. Now, one of those things that you want to take a look at, you could actually name those, because each one of these you could name by flipping around the first and the last letter. As long as the middle letter, and I'm going to highlight that here in, we'll go with green. So this letter has to be in the middle right here. The O for all the ones that are on the right side and all the ones that are on the left side. So they have to be there. Now you could switch around the first and third letters. That would be okay. So some of them will have similar angles. So that's this guy right here. So those are all the angles that make linear pairs with the angle that's given there in example 4. Now let's check out example 5. Now this one here is going to be a little bit more thinking going on here. So let's check it out. We've got to use what we know about linear pairs to find missing variables or missing measures. Now, in example A, they're told 84 degrees is how much, or 82 degrees is how much that piece is going to be. So measure angle 4 is 82. So I'm going to put an 82 right there. Now, I know from where angle 4 is all the way to angle 3, I know that makes 180 degrees. So I could say to myself, angle 3. So I'm going to kind of think about this out loud. I could do 180 minus 82. And when I come up with that value, I get a difference of 98. So angle 3 could be 98 degrees. Ooh, sounds like a group. Yeah. So that's one option there. That's one angle. And then once I know that, check this out. I could go the other way with it. So let me kind of erase this part right here. And now think about it going this direction. Boom. So angles 1 and 4 are also a linear pair, right? So if we know angle 1 is what we're trying to find, and angle 4 we know is angle 2, so is 82, so angle 1, that would have to be 180 minus 82 again as well. And when we find that difference, we get 98 again. Check that out. So angle 1 and angle 3 are both 98 degrees. Now, when I take a look at that, there's a couple different approaches you could make to this one, right? But again, I'm going to stick with what I know about linear pairs for right now. So if we just found that angle 1 or angle 3, and it doesn't matter which one you use, so we'll go with angle 1. Say we just found that to be 98, right? I know this whole piece right here with angle 1 and angle 2 must have a sum of 180 degrees. So to find angle 2, so I'm going to kind of notate that over here, I would just do 180 minus 98. And when I find that difference, I end up with 82. That's 82. So there's going to be a pattern later on that we're going to talk about when we look at these angles. And this is going to be something I want you to notice. This guy over here is 82, and the one where angle 3 was, we found that to be 98. So when we get into something soon called vertical angles, one of the things you're going to notice is, hey, these guys right here, boom and boom, they're going to have the same measures. And similarly, if I go here to 98 and 98, look where they are, these guys also will have the same measure. Man, that's the worst color ever. But you get the idea. So that's going to be something that's going to come into play later. All right. For now, let's take a look at example B. Now this one's a little more straightforward because we have just two angles to work with here. So I know that sum of both of those angles, because they share that common vertex and they're a linear pair, will give me the equation 2x plus that 48, that's going to have a sum of 180. When I do my arithmetic, I'll subtract 48 from both sides. When you do that, you will end up with 132 degrees. Now I've got one more step to go, or actually two. First, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'll get a value, when we do that, of 66. Now, x has a value of 66, all right? So that's one of the things, and this is a very common mistake. People are like, oh, I found the value of x, boom, I'm done. No, bro, you're not. You got to find measure of angle EHF. So one of the things we've got to do when we find the measure of EHF, now there's kind of two ways you want to do this. So EHF, we know that that's 2x, right? Because we see that in there. So EHF, this part right here, has to be represented by 2x. So I just found x to be 66, right? So what we do is we're going to substitute that in. So 2 times 66. When we do that, we'll get a sum or a product of 132. So I get 132 for that. Now this is where we check to make sure our arithmetic was okay. Because if I look at that, if those two angles that are a linear pair, they should have a sum of 180 degrees. So that 2x, I know that part's 132. So angle EHF, that's 132. The angle that we're given, that FHG part, that part is 48. If I add those up, do I get 180? Yeah, check. All right, cool. So if I made an arithmetic mistake, and that part I was solving before, that's where you catch it. So be really careful when you go to do that, because that'll tell us we got the correct value of x. All right, last one here. Now this one, a little bit more involved because we've got this pair of linear angles that are both represented by an expression. So same idea as before, same ideas, right? We're going to have one angle plus the other angle. We know those two angles are going to equal 180 degrees because they're a linear pair. So that means a 5x plus 2 part plus the 26x minus 8. So angle ABC plus angle CBD, those two things, two angles, will add up to 180. Now, where we're going to look at, right, first is combining like terms. So 5x and 26x, that's going to be really nice and give us 31x. Now, my other values here, when I combine plus 2 with minus 8, so the two numbers that we have, they will just produce a sum of minus 6. So when I do that, I'll get 31x minus 6 equals 180. Now notice equal signs are all lined up, nice, neat, organized. Keep your work that way, always, always, and forever. So when we add 6 to both sides, we'll get 31x equals 186. Now we've got to do a little bit of math here and divide that out. When you do that, we'll end up with plain old 6. So x actually has a value of just 6. So that's one of the things I want to take a look at. So x has a value of 6. All right, cool. So we got that. Now for each one of these pieces then, I just need, because I got to find measure angle ABC. So this guy right here, I'm just going to substitute 6 in for this value. Is going to go in for this x, and it's going to go in for that x. And I'll just figure out each piece, right? So on this one, I'll get 5 times 6 plus 2. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 2. That gives me a sum of 32. So angle ABC is 32 degrees. Now when I go over the other spot, when I go over here to this angle CBD, that angle is going to have, let's see, 26 times 6 minus 8. So I got to do a little bit more arithmetic right here. And when we do that, 26 times 6 minus 8, that'll give us a value of 148. So when you find those two numbers, you want to double check, hey, because when I look at them, all right, I know that these guys right here, boom, they're going to be a linear pair. All right, so in that offering of those two angles being a linear pair, I know that their sum should be 180. So again, that's my check to make sure I got the correct value of 6. And that's all we got to do for this one. So take your time, do your arithmetic properly, neatly organize your work, as always, and check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. We got one more after this one because we got these last couple problems here with examples 6 and 7. So they coming at you next. Until then, peace out, Cub Scout, and I'll catch you later.